Hey guys, Shalana here. Welcome to the Binge Zone. On today's video, we're talking about season 2 of the Netflix original series, The End of the Effing World. And guys, just when we thought the story couldn't get any wilder, couldn't get any more crazy, this second season really pushes the show and pushes the boundaries of just what we thought this show was about. So before we dive too deep into the second season, if you have not seen the first season, stop the video now, go watch it, because from this moment forward, nothing but spoilers. You have been warned. And let's jump into the second season. The second season takes place about 2 years after the ending of the first season. And we know the ending of the first season left us on a major cliffhanger dealing with James and gunfire and police officers. So did James survive? That is the key question, and the answer is yes. It's the moments after his survival in the next 2 years that shapes the crux of the plot of the second season. And guys, I was a major fan of the first season. Alyssa, James, their dynamic was phenomenal, and that's back in this second season. And the two characters are really strong in this second season. They didn't skip a beat in characterization and the growing of the two characters. And I have to say, wow, just when you thought their lives couldn't get any more fucked up, it just throws it over the moon. It's just wild just where the second season goes. But I want to take this moment before we dive too deep into James and Alyssa. Let's talk about the newcomer of the second season, Bonnie. And the character of Bonnie is very interesting. Despite the fact that she's totally mental like our two main characters, Bonnie's character represents a combination of both of the characters, James and Alyssa, in one character. And matter of fact, Bonnie's story and the second season is actually a parallel to the first season. If you think about it, it's the same character archetypes and the same progression of the storyline. Think about it. In the first season, you had James and you had Alyssa. Messed up family backgrounds, parents, one parent is gone in both cases. In Alyssa's case, her father was gone. In James' case, his mother was gone. In Bonnie's scenario, her father was there and then the father left. So it's kind of like one parent's gone, being raised by a parent who just doesn't understand you, and you aren't receiving the love that you would want from a parent. James, the love that his father had for him in the first season, it wasn't his vibe, his love language. Same for Alyssa and her absent-minded mother. And with Bonnie, her mother's love was abusive and harsh. So it culminated this need to belong, this need for love, which is the same thing that James and Alyssa suffered from in the first season. And when they found each other, they found meaning and love. And this Bonnie character, she found it in somebody else. And she found it in the creepy guy who tried to take advantage of Alyssa in the first season. So this season is her revenge story on the two characters, i.e. her wanting to off both of them for what they did to her lover, in the same vein that James wanted to find somebody to off in the first season. So you see the character parallels between these characters. She goes hitchhiking, she goes on an adventure, she accidentally murders somebody. The same things that happened in the first season reappear in the second season, but now we're seeing it from Bonnie's point of view. And I think what it does is it makes us look at James and Alyssa in a different light. Because the way we're seeing Bonnie, that's essentially what James and Alyssa was doing in the first season. However, when we watched it, it was lit. It was two characters we liked. They was getting it on. They was having time of their lives. And us as the audience really enjoyed it. But then when you see it as an antagonist point of view, you see like, whoa, something's wrong with Bonnie. The same could be said for these two characters. Something's wrong with them. And I love the parallels of the story. And at the end, how they just kind of stop her from offering herself, and then James wants to do more to help. Speaking of James, geez, James can't catch a break. In the first season, the kid watched his mom off himself, grew up with a father who didn't understand his love language, ran off with Alyssa, who I can say is somewhat abusive in her own right because of just the way she deals with things. And then you have in the finale, James gets shot, fade to black, and now he's rehabbing the second season. His father went to counseling, knows how to speak to him, knows how to communicate effectively with James, and then his father dies. Like, he can't catch a break. Everyone he loves so at this point in the story, everyone he loves is just gone, and James is left alone to wander this world, and he's not equipped mentally or psychologically to do so because of all the tragedies he suffered. And then you have Alyssa, who's going through the same things over, and she's just going through the motions of life. The same motions she ran away from in the first season, she's going through them in the second season, and then she gets married. Of all the characters, she gets married, and she's the character you would think is the least likely to get married. But then she doesn't stay in her marriage because that's not just who she is. The The only person who truly gets her is James, and that's when the two characters unite after James does some creepy stalkerish things to her, right? Like following her around and things of that nature. But then they go on their adventure and they kind of rekindle and kind of understand each other more, and you get to see that these characters have grown. Even though it's a 2-year time skip, a lot of shows can just keep the characters in the same characterization, but these two characters grow, and them growing and understanding they're not the answer for each other's problems, but together they can work at it. It's some powerful stuff, because these are some damaged kids, and together they found a home with each other. And even with Bonnie and her revenge plot and all the crazy shenanigans that happen, they find a way to save her, and they don't even hold her in contempt or anything, because they see themselves in her and she is them. Like, this story, the way this story mirrors the first 2 seasons is phenomenal. It lets you see it from both perspectives, and it shows you the growth in the characters. And the ending is not ambiguous. The ending is pretty simple. They found each other, they need work, but they're willing to work on it with each other. And these two characters understand each other the most. They've shared tragedy, they've shared joy, they've shared happiness, they shared a few things that make them stronger as a couple and as friends. So it's really phenomenal that they were able to do all of that and recapture the magic while giving us a nice send-off to these characters. And James and Alyssa, I have to say, are some of my favorite characters in television, just because of how damaged and how they go from being damaged, and then by the end of the series, they're not healed. Like, Alyssa's still struggling with what happened to her in the first season, but she's not completely healed of it, and it's not like roses and rainbows at the end. It's a lesson that, yo, shit happens, get through it. And despite all the crazy hijinks and all the wild things that happen, it tells you, get through it, push through it. And that is the crux of the story, and you can see it from various Bonnie, from the mother of Alyssa, from James losing his father, from Lade, Alyssa's aunt. All of these characters just push through and just keep moving, because life is, that's it. That's all you have, and that's a valuable lesson that the show teaches. I enjoyed it. I really like this show. One of my favorites, and the 2 seasons parallel, and the nice closed ending of the 2nd season leaves the story complete, in my opinion. That's my thoughts, guys. Let me know in the comment section below what you think of the season. Did you enjoy it? Me personally, I like this season a little bit more than the 2nd season, because it's dealing with the BS of the 1st season, and now these characters have to move past it and still deal with more BS. And the fact that they're able to do it, I really enjoyed it more than the 1st season. But I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. And if you liked the video, definitely give it a thumbs up. Hit the subscribe button if you guys have not already. And until next time, binge on.